Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to begin today with a quote by Brooks, 2002, page 144. Schools are for learners already living a life, not preparing to live a life. The lives they are living must be honoured, and we can't do that unless we look beyond common thinking, bring real life back to school life, and in doing so reclaim the essence of learning. For some reason, young children's early experience with learning through a play-based curriculum to their experience when they start at school, these values are lost. As I progressed through my education, learning tended to be a passive endeavour where the product of my knowledge was paramount to the process. For this reason, I'm going to be presenting a critical analysis of constructivism as a learning theory that I feel will benefit our school. So the three key threads that I'm going to be discussing today are knowledge that is socially acquired, knowledge that is directed by the learner's interests, and knowledge that is developed through active engagement with the environment. So the first process, the social and cultural construction of knowledge. Before you all get in a panic about encouraging our children to talk in class, Dewey 1909 suggests it's simply giving learners the opportunity to exchange a range of ideas, to extend their thinking, clarify their thoughts, and to see things from more than one view. Take note, however, that it takes time and the learners will need guidance to teach them the necessary skills to learn in a social situation. However, Vygotsky's scaffolding can later on be used within a peer-to-peer learning framework, which will help save us time according to Duchesne 2015. Just going to bring this into life with an example of a teacher who really embraced the social notion of learning. At my secondary school, at the beginning of the year, he suggested that we were the experts and asked us what we felt we needed to learn. At first we were initially quite reserved, but in line with Seeley 2013, he began to model speculations, suggestions and opinions, and encouraged us to be more open and spontaneous with our responses. Through sensitive collaboration with the group, he was able to lead us from closed questions with simple answers to more open-ended questions with evaluative and critical responses. Duchesne 2015 suggests social learning creates a group understanding that is greater than could have been produced individually. So to develop further on this aspect, I feel there's a significant positive and encouraging work as to learners to work together despite cultural differences, disabilities and abilities. Bosnot 2005 states that all children are valuable regardless of disability or ability and have a part to play in the meaning making of each other's worlds. So let's encourage learners to work together towards a shared goal and hopefully remove some of the barriers between them. So although learning is a dynamic and sociable process, it is also viewed as something that's quite unique and personal. Each child is on their own individual pathway of learning, categorizing knowledge from the world around them. Mooney 2013 discusses Jean Piaget, who is a renowned educational psychologist. He developed the notion that children construct knowledge and make meaning of the people, places and things in their world. So before we conjure up the image of sitting at our desk with a cup of tea whilst children just busily construct their learning, I must emphasize the dynamic role that you'll play. It's essential that you all have a sound knowledge of the prior experiences and knowledge children bring with them to the classroom each day. Seeley 2013 suggests these experiences are value-laden and more than just knowledge and information about the world. Each child has a real unique learning experience and therefore the classroom and curriculum needs to be set up to accommodate for that. So constructivism also views the learner as an active participant who likes to manipulate and explore during the learning process. You might be remembering an occasion where active learning sort of occurred in your classrooms, but let me just clarify the difference between being active whilst learning and really actively and engaging and exploring during the learning process. I'm going to do this with an observation of a Year 3 class where children were split into groups and given materials and instructions to build a kite. Once the kites were built, we all headed outside and we flew them and talked about how that particular shape catches the wind to make it fly. Anyone walking in on the classroom, it would appear that the children were actively learning, but in fact they were just receiving direct instruction from their teacher where there was only one suitable outcome. Maybe a more authentic task would have been to give them the necessary knowledge and skills and materials and encourage them to just simply build something that flies. Graham Ball 2016 is concerned though that if children don't have the base knowledge, they can stumble on many misconceptions, and these incorrect discoveries are remembered just as easily as the correct ones. I feel like this highlights just the importance of careful scaffolding and making the problem-solving process transparent by verbalizing, predicting, summarizing, questioning and clarifying. These skills are valued by the constructivist teacher, and the process is valued along with the product and the method along with the outcome. So before I conclude, I must draw on how constructivism encourages a deep level of learning. However, extensive opportunities to develop factual knowledge is essential. The structure of observed learning outcomes framework discusses how children work through 3 structural stages of learning, where they develop that initial foundational knowledge and leads them through to relational and extended abstract thinking, where real deep conceptual learning occurs. Krahenbuhl 2016 is mindful that factual knowledge is not the enemy of higher order thinking. Moreover, it's a prerequisite for it to occur. This makes me think that perhaps it would be useful to draw on some cognitive teaching methods to use as a platform towards constructivist learning and teaching. In conclusion, the more I learn about constructivism as a learning theory, the more it makes sense as a truly positive learning journey for children that celebrates them in all their diversity. However, non-constructivist learning and teaching is so embedded in schools, I feel it would be very challenging to present it in its purest form. The very nature of the school system is thick with right and wrong answers and is very outcome and assessment driven. Unless there's a shift in attitudes at a much higher level, I think it's only practical to use this in conjunction with some other theories. Let my final thought be a quote by Brooks, 2002, page 11. Learning isn't simple, but when sought and pursued actively and mindfully, it is energizing, dynamic and cherished. Thank you very much.